It is 2026, and the music industry is locked in an existential crisis. Major labels are staring down a new generation of generative models that can perfectly clone human voices, moving beyond simple melodies to simulate the exact texture and grit of a biological performance. Recording giants are fighting to protect their catalogs from what they call unauthorized mimicry. If a computational model, trained on decades of human history, can synthesize a flawless composition, the artist faces a future of total obsolescence. This panic overlooks a deep historical irony. Decades ago, the pioneers of Detroit techno explicitly built an entire genre around this exact tension, the collision between organic life and the unyielding industrial precision of machinery. Generative algorithms are not destroying techno's original premise. They are forcing a high-stakes test of the man-machine philosophy. Jeffrey A. Brick is a former healthcare project manager who navigated the administrative machinery of mortality long before he embraced generative software. Grappling with physical frailty and chronic ailments, Brick decided to lean into the AI controversy rather than fight it. He created a sprawling 54-minute conceptual project titled Detroit. As this track layout shows, this wasn't a collection of short clips, but a fully realized 12-track album built through the Suno V5 generative engine. The album earned a staggering 4.5 out of 5 from critics. Reviews praised its spatial depth and thematic reach, effectively silencing those who dismissed AI-generated music as a cheap parlor trick. Brick's critical success highlights a tension that can no longer be ignored. A machine executed every note of this album, yet the end result is being hailed as a vital piece of human art. The production process starts with a human translating abstract memory into the rigid, mathematical language of the algorithm. The prompt for Sky Dreams Detroit illustrates this. Brick provided coded variables, a steady 126 BPM, a T909 kick, and minor mode stabs. He then applied emotional parameters, demanding dark reverb pads and cinematic sci-fi immersion to generate a futuristic tension. This prompt-driven approach allows the AI to synthesize complex historical concepts, such as the mineral-rich history of Michigan's copper industry. In Copperland, Detroit, the engine translated the weight of 19th-century mining into sound, turning the rolling mill heartbeat into a heavy 4/4 techno pulse. In the track Motor City Body Machine, Brick pushed the AI to simulate human physiology. The engine rendered chest thumps, palm slaps, and respiratory rhythms with a mathematical perfection. The simulated breathing never falters, creating a relentless pace that no biological performer could physically sustain. Through these tracks, the algorithm proves to be a supreme fabricator, capable of executing historical and physical parameters with clinical, unyielding exactness. But clinical exactness has its limits. There are moments in the project where the machine's perfection becomes an artistic liability. Consider a Heidelberg story, dedicated to Tyree Guyton's installation. The site is a masterclass in chaotic reclamation, built from the literal debris of urban decay. The algorithm struggled to reconcile this subject. It attempted to force organic, improvisational rebel onto the rigid, quantized grid of a techno beat, clashing with the handmade spirit of Guyton's work. The algorithm is a supreme mimic of sound, but it lacks the physical experience of living in a failing body or a crumbling city. It cannot truly comprehend the trembling hand required to understand decay. This friction leads back to the central question of the 2026 authorship crisis. If the AI executes the notes, the tempo, and the instruments, who is the true author of the work? What the Detroit project demonstrates is that the essence of electronic music does not live in analog hardware, nor does it live in the clinical perfection of an algorithmic 909 drum kick. The critical consensus suggests the soul of the music resides entirely in Jeffrey A. Brick's curatorial intent, his historical reverence, and his specific aesthetic taste. Left to its own devices, a generative engine will calculate endless permutations of empty, mathematically perfect noise. It requires human direction and lived experience to point that capability toward an artistic purpose. In the age of generative models, the algorithm is merely the industry's new steel lung. It provides the capacity to speak, but it still requires the breath, the will, and the intent of a human architect to give it a soul.